If what you're looking for is a tablet that strikes a balance between power, versatility, performance, and has a good price, this Doogee V-Pad we're going to look at today could be the perfect candidate, since for about 250 euros, we're going to get features of a mid-high range like its MediaTek Dimensity processor. 7050 to handle multitasking, play video games, watch movies, or its 12-inch screen up to 2.4K. And besides, it has incredible internal performance and up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. Let's see if it's as good as it seems. If not, these numbers are just on paper. And we're going to put it to the test here at TechGround. We know the Doogee brand well on this channel. We've tested different products, going through a lot of smartphones with different features. But for those of you who don't know, the brand is a Chinese company that has been committed for years to making rugged devices with good value for money. Personally, I've always seen Doogee as a brand that takes risks. And with this V-Pad, they wanted to fully enter the mid-high range tablet segment, going for specifications that you would normally only see in much more expensive tablets. If you like powerful and practical technology, and you like what we bring here to the channel, I encourage you to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on notifications to catch upcoming channel videos. Now let's do the unboxing and see what's inside the box. Well, we have a pretty simple box here, white, with a touch of gray on the front. The brand name is at the top left, and the model is on the gray strip. There's also an engraving of Vision here. At the top right, we see that it has 12 inches, and at the bottom right, there's a sticker that tells us what it has. 256 gigabytes of internal storage and 32 gigabytes of RAM. A box without frills, minimalist, but the important thing is inside. When we open it, we find the tablet very well protected, which is greatly appreciated to avoid scratches and also to prevent it from falling when we open it. And of course, we also see the user manual, the warranty card, and the specific absorption rate certificate specifications.
Of course.
It comes with the pin to open the SIM card slot and a 10W charger with a USB-C to USB-A cable. Everything is neatly packed and organized in the Doogee V-Pad box. Here's what was included. The tablet is already out of its box. The first thing we notice when we pick it up is that it feels very well built. It's very well put together. The finish seems pretty good, and you can tell plastic-like. Honestly, that's good. The screen, at first I did notice a bit of a strange feel, but it doesn't seem poorly built. The first thing we're going to talk about, as always, is the size and dimensions. But first, there's something I think you all need to know if you buy it. Mine came completely dead. It had no battery, so I had to charge it for a while. 4 hours until it was fully charged. But just so you know, I don't know if it was just this unit, but it comes completely dead with no battery. The dimensions are that it has a height of 28 centimeters, a width of 17.5 centimeters, and a thickness. At its thinnest, it's about 8.2 to 8.3 millimeters. At the camera module, it reaches 1 centimeter. But we have a tablet that's extremely thin. It's truly a pleasure to hold and fits perfectly in your hands. The weight makes it a light tablet. It's 576 grams, which may initially seem like a lot of weight. On smartphones, you can really feel that weight from 300 to 400 grams. A smartphone is already heavy, but honestly, a tablet at nearly 600 grams is even more so. It's pretty good. Now let's move on to the build and design section, and in this case, we have a tablet that's completely black. It's also available in blue. I've seen the blue color, and it's quite nice. It's a kind of aquamarine blue, and the black, as always, is very elegant, a bit more aggressive, but it gets dirty more easily because we have a construction on a metal chassis. And on the back, we have a division. Where the camera module goes is on this strip here, which has a polycarbonate finish, and on the lower part, it's true that, as you can see, let's see in the light, the fingerprint marks are left very clearly. And this well gives the impression that the tablet might look dirty as soon as we start using it. That said, it's very beautiful, very elegant. It would be nice if they included a case, but that might be too much to expect for the price. Now let's discuss the design. On the top, on the edge, we see two sections with micro perforations. That will be the first speaker, the top speaker, since it has stereo sound. If we go to the right side here, we have the lock and unlock button at the top and the combined button, as always, for increasing and decreasing the volume. We don't have anything else on this edge. It's true, well, that it's up here. The lock and unlock button at the top is always comfortable. On the bottom edge, we find the tray for either dual SIM or one SIM and a micro secure digital card to also expand our internal memory. The USB-C power input. And of course, the second speaker, another set of small holes we have here for the stereo speaker. So we have speakers on the top and bottom. Honestly, it's pretty good. And on the left edge, we have a completely clean and very slim, very aesthetic edge. As you can see, like I said before, the tablet is very extremely slim. On the back, on the right side, we have the camera module, a circular module where we find two little cameras, but only one of them will actually work. I think the other one is just for show or has another purpose I haven't figured out. The LED is the flash for photos, or maybe for the flashlight. Here, the module is clearly defined as shown on the right. It's circular, which also gives it a different look compared to other tablets that usually have square ones. If we look at the front, we find the front camera in the center right here. A front camera also with face detection, so you can lock and unlock it with facial recognition, which honestly is really good. And we have a total surface area of 87.2% screen to body ratio. We have a bezel, and honestly, the bezel is pretty good. It's not even a centimeter. I think it's about the same, around 0.7 millimeters. What does that give us in total? Well, about 10.40 inches of usable area. It's 12. But if we subtract this amount of surface, we'll get this number, about 10.40 inches. We have 11 inches, okay, usable. If we subtract that surface amount, we get about 1040 inches. We have 11 inches usable, right? As I was saying, the bezels are very well used and the control surface is quite large. Let's go. Let's start by talking about the screen, which has a resolution of 1200 by 2000 pixels, or what is equivalent to 2.4K, and a density of 225 pixels per inch, which also gives us a refresh rate of 90 Hz. I have to say the screen's smoothness is especially noticeable when browsing videos or navigating the menu. It's not an active matrix organic light emitting diode screen, but for the price, the quality and scrolling smoothness honestly surprised me in a good way. I should mention that in our usual video tests, it was somewhat lacking for two reasons. One reason was the limited high dynamic range contrast and vivid colors, making the profile appear flat and lacking color depth. When playing 4K and 2K images, I had to lower the resolution to 1080 or 720 because even with the buffer loaded, the connection would still freeze. The image would lag, so I think that in terms of image projection, there's room for improvement. For a 12-inch tablet, it's comfortable and not heavy during long sessions, which is a plus. If you're going to use it for studying, working, or watching series, well, a large, comfortable, and ergonomic tablet is honestly a big advantage. And as long as we keep these parameters in mind, it's a really good screen. It's a liquid crystal display, in-plane switching screen, and it has a good response. And here we leave you a sample so you can see the real test we've done with it. Now let's move on to the specifications and how it works. This is where the Doogee VPad left me with a pretty good impression as a webcam, since it comes with a MediaTek Dimensity processor, 7050, which is the MediaTek 8791, with 2 advanced RISC Machine Cortex-A78 cores and 6 advanced RISC Machine Cortex-A 55 cores at 2.6 GHz clock speed. In daily use, this performance is more than enough for multitasking, demanding apps, and casual games. I've tested Asphalt, I've tested Call of Duty, the Marvel game I usually try, and even a Minions game. Honestly, it runs them perfectly thanks to its high-performing Mali G68 MC4 graphics card. Even with games that are more demanding and require more performance, For example, I've mentioned Asphalt and Call of Duty, which is the one that usually demands more resources. You might be seeing some tests of the games I've played here. Don't judge me too much, okay? I'm not very good at playing video games, especially on tablets and phones, but at least you can see the performance and smoothness. By the way, in Asphalt, at first it asked me for some graphics, which were just normal graphics. I set it to the highest option it allowed, and honestly, it ran really well. We don't have graphics in 4K, but it looks pretty good and pretty smooth, just like Call of Duty, but in the Marvel game. Normally when I do these tests on different products, I notice the contrast, the deep colors, and also the smoothness of the game. These are very fast movements that the character makes. Well, here I've seen it a little more lacking. We have 8 GB of physical RAM, but virtual memory allows up to 32 GB. If you have free space, you can use it easily. And honestly, you can really notice this when you have many applications open and you're working with heavy files. I haven't noticed any strange slowdowns or unexpected app crashes. And that's something I really value, especially in a tablet that's in this rack. Internal storage is 256 GB expandable via microsecure digital to 2 TB. So here I really take my hat off because they've taken storage to a really high level. You can carry your whole library of movies, games, series, and notes, store everything. Notice that 2 TB on a phone or a tablet is an outrageous amount of storage. Let's move to the next key section, the cameras. 13 megapixels in its main sensor with an aperture of 2.2 in its diaphragm. And even though it has 2 lenses, as I mentioned before, only one is functional for photos and video. The photos have good resolution, 4160 x 3120 at 4:3, and the video is 4K at 3840 x 2160 pixels. It doesn't have a multi-axis digital optical image stabilizer, but honestly, the images look pretty stable when recording, and they don't shake excessively either. As for the front camera, we have 8 megapixels, which is enough for video calls or taking the occasional selfie, but not much more than that. They're not cameras to show off with, like I always say on Instagram, but they're good enough for everyday use, perfectly fine for daily tasks like scanning documents, making a video call, or having a meeting. And well, they also include in the photography section portrait modes, beauty filters, and document reading, which can be useful if we use it for work or if we want to take a picture with our family, with our kids, or whatever we need from time to time. Here, as usual, we provide samples, videos, and photos taken during the day, night, indoors, and outdoors. How do these cameras work? Personally, I have to say that the resolution, well, it left a bit to be desired for me. Tablets typically don't have good cameras. This one specifically takes acceptable photos, but it does have a strange noise, like a kind of very digital saturation. And we don't have a depth or contrast that we could call premium or high quality. This Doogee V-Pad has a mid-range front camera suitable for daily use, especially in daylight. We're indoors, but as always, testing light changes and contrast, backlit in the other direction. We don't have zoom to enlarge here. With my arm fully extended, there's no stabilization. I'll walk around inside. This is the result of the front camera in video mode in daylight conditions, as I said, and indoors. Well, we went outside with it to test it as well. Outdoors. The front camera in video mode at max resolution. I'm walking down the street with my arms stretched out, as you can see. It seems the solution here is much better. It's true that the colors and texture look a bit digital and artificial, but well, it seems to look pretty good. Judge for yourselves. This is how it looks. This is how it sounds. This is how it stabilizes. I'm going to turn toward the sun. Now let's see how it handles changes in lighting and shadow. The dynamic range seems to work quite well, and as always, a bit of backlighting. Front camera night conditions of this Doogee V-Pad, as you can see, with arms extended, with changing light. This is how it looks and sounds. It seems that this front camera generates quite a lot of noise. This has been the front camera test. Another key aspect is connectivity, which really surprised me. It comes with Wi-Fi 6, it has Bluetooth 5.0 and dual SIM with 5G data connection. This is definitely a step up compared to many competing tablets, since Wi-Fi 6 also makes a noticeable difference. For downloading and uploading files and documents, and well, we did a connection test and it gave me the maximum speed I have at home, which is 600 megabits. Lastly, I saved this important section for the end because I think it's a strong point. It's 8,800 milliamp hours of battery, a really good battery life, but a disappointing charge speed of 10 watts. I have to say you really notice it here. As I mentioned earlier, it takes about 4 to 4.5 hours to fully charge. It's not a big deal, especially if you charge it at night, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. If you're someone who's always in a hurry or takes the boards around, you might run out of battery or maybe not. We have fast charging, but we don't have near field communication to be able to pay or have wireless connectivity. And well, the operating system is Android 15. The experience, the truth is it's broad, with no heavy skins, weird interface or unnecessary apps. But what we aren't sure about is the number of updates that will be available over time. So, that's something I haven't found out and I wouldn't know how to tell you, but if you know, leave it in the comments. That way we all find out. How long will we have update coverage on this Doogee V-Pad? In conclusion, I can say the Doogee V-Pad convinces me. Because of the big screen, a large and smooth display at 90 Hz, the performance of its processor, which is still a Dimensity 7050. It's a high mid-range device that covers a lot of advanced features and the possibility of having up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. Of course, that's through virtual storage, as long as we have storage and above all, 5G and Wi-Fi connectivity. So if we go out with the tablet, we'll have good coverage. Areas for improvement include the slow charging, just 10 watts, which could be increased to at least 20 or 30 watts. And of course, also the performance in terms of screen projection and resolution. That's something you probably noticed in the video tests, where it would freeze and glitch when I had to play high dynamic range videos, which supposedly it is compatible with. Aside from that, this tablet is listed at 399 euros on their website, but with our promo code, it drops to 250 euros. So we'll leave the link in the description so you can take advantage of this offer. And well, other than that, it's a tablet I would recommend if you're looking for something mid-range and you don't want to spend too much money. Other than that, let me know if this Doogee V-Pad convinced you. Leave it in the comments. I want to know if you would buy it. Is it within your expectations or is it just another tablet for you? Your opinion matters to me. I'll read and reply to everyone. As always, like and subscribe to keep bringing the best content to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And thanks for being there. See you in the next TechGround video. See you soon.